Welcome to the Time Has Come podcast. My name is Graham Wardle, and I am so happy that you have joined me here today for this episode. This is my third solo cast, and for some of you, you will know that a solo cast is just where it's just me talking to you right from my heart, sharing with you what's going on in my life, what's happening, what I'm thinking about, what I think is valuable that I want to share. So I hope you enjoy this episode. If this is your first time listening to my podcast, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy it. And for those of you who are returning guests, thank you for being here. I want to start out this episode by reading something to all of you that I've written recently. And it goes like this. All is not lost. Only that which is unsustainable will perish. Cultivate your essentials now. One step at a time, you must build your foundation on that which is solid. May you grow your faith, may you grow your courage, and may you grow your resilience in these months ahead. The best is yet to come. And I wanted to share that with you all because we are going through some tough times. But I can feel in my heart and in my being like there's a knowing that on the other side of this is going to be so beautiful. And I've said this before in other episodes, but I'm sharing it with you again because we're going into a winter in more ways than one. And we have to remember this, that it's always darkest before the dawn, right? And so I know many of you have shared this with me in saying that you can feel this as well, that there are beautiful times ahead, but there are challenges also in the midterm before that. So that's what this episode is about. I want to share with you my inspiration, my faith that we will make it through this, and that feeling that I hope you can feel in my voice and in my presence right now, that you can resonate with it in yourself, because it can be very easy to get stuck in the fear because there's so much of it right now. And I think it's important for us to acknowledge that and to understand what we must do here and now to prepare for possible challenging times ahead. So what am I talking about? Well, I'm sure some of you recently have seen in the news, supply chains are being disrupted. We got shipping problems. We got trucking problems. Sometimes we're having problems with the internet. I've heard that we might have more problems with the internet. There's always lots of rumors. There's always lots of conspiracy theories. And unfortunately, a lot of these conspiracy theories are coming true, which is really not fun. But now when I hear some crazy theory, I don't just write it off as some guy on the internet trying to make money selling his new dehydrated foods. I go, well, is there something to this? Because over the last 12 months, 15, 18 months, I should say, I've heard lots of things. And a good portion of them have come to pass. And that's kind of a cause to pause and go, oh, well, maybe there's something to this. Maybe we should think about some things. But how do we do that without going into a bunker and panicking, right? And that's what I want to share with you this episode is how we prepare is just as important with what we prepare. So some people, they hear messages about potential food shortages or power outages, and they go into this mode of like hoarding or trying to stock up, like what happened when early 2020 there, when everybody went out and bought toilet paper and they just went crazy, right? So it's how we prepare. These are some of the topics and issues and things that I want to share with you that I feel is really important, because as much as I want to believe that it will all be okay, we're not going back to the way things were, ever, because so many lines have been crossed and so many things have happened that we can never return to that and just forget it all. It's kind of like an abusive relationship where there's physical violence or there's so much lying going on that you can't ever forget it. It's like you have to own it and acknowledge it and really work on it to repair that trust, because the trust has been broken. I don't know about you, but my trust in authority, health authority, government authority, most authority out there right now is gone completely. I think a lot of people share that feeling where they don't trust those people in power anymore. If you just take a step back and you go, we can't just return to normal because all these systems have broken our trust. So what does that mean? We're going to have to adapt, and we're going to have to learn how to be more self-sufficient, reliable, connected at a local level. So why are we going through this? I feel that we're going through a purification process. You know that old saying that a mountain is for finding vision and a valley is for purification? Well, I believe we're going through a purification process where the systems that are unsustainable, the ways of life that aren't in balance are going to crumble, are going to collapse. While that happens, there's going to be a shifting of organization. And so it's important that we prepare and we understand that we are being purified. So that which is no longer sustainable will be removed. And the things that are collectively good for the whole will remain. In these times, there is a tendency to be negative or to see things, it's all collapsing, it's all falling apart. And that's why I started my piece of writing with all is not lost. It may seem that way. It may seem like everything is falling apart, but it's not. What's happening is we're going through a purification process. Things are being stripped away. And so our job is to remain focused on that which is valuable to us, that resonates with our heart, that connects us all together, and sync up with that energy in our hearts, sync up with that faith that things will get better, that we will get through this. And on the other side, it's going to be beautiful. Holding that vision, being connected to that energy is so important. So here's my five little things that I wanted to share with you that I think are what I focus on, and hopefully they're helpful to you. So number one in my 5 to thrive through this process of purification is mindfulness. Now, I know you guys have probably heard this idea of mindfulness. It's not religious. It's not in any way connected to that. It's just the idea of being aware of where your attention is going. What I remind myself, and I want to remind you or to share with you, is to pay attention that when you're watching TV or you're on your phone or you're talking to people or you're out in the world there, notice where your attention is going, whether it be in your thoughts, whether it be in the media or the news that you're watching, and pay attention to how you're feeling through that process. Because if you do, you can quickly see if it's draining you or if it's giving you energy. Okay, so this practice of mindfulness, you will see truth from lies. And the more you go into prayer, you go into meditation, you take time out in nature, and you unplug, you get this like superpower, this sensitivity where you can feel the truth. And it doesn't come from a voice in your head. It's like a bubbling up from inside, this quiet place. And once you feel it, there's no questioning it. Your mind will be like, I don't get it. How do I know this just intuitively, just through my whole being? That's when you tap into that place, you know this is the truth. It makes you stronger inside. It's not a voice in your head. It's from within. And it's this quiet place that comes from. So having that mindfulness, having that presence taps you into that, gives you that superpower. It's really important. Number 2 that I want to share with you guys is our physical health is so important right now, obviously. And I think it's important that we feed our bodies well. And for myself, I've read lots of different books and diets and things you should avoid. Don't eat this, eat that. High fat, no low fat. Eat meat, don't eat meat. There's so many things out there. And as I've taken a step back, I've gone, you know what? How am I going to feel after I eat this food? So I envision or I imagine this food or this item on the menu, and I go, how do I think I'm going to feel after I eat this? Don't think about how you're going to feel when you're eating it, because a lot of the times when you take that first bite, it tastes so good. It tastes amazing, right? And you're like, oh, that's all I want. That's what I'm just focusing on. And that's what most people choose their food based upon is like, what craving am I trying to satisfy right now? How do I want to feel right now? And it's like, no. How do you want to feel after you've done the meal, after you've eaten it? And if you eat accordingly, you will attract a better quality of nutrition. At least that's what I found. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy some ice cream every once in a while. It just means that you're going to think about, hey, if I eat this whole tub, like I've done before, I'm going to feel sick. So don't do that. Well, you can if you want, but it's just having that sort of frame of reference has helped me. So hopefully that helps you as well. The third thing I wanted to share with you is having some challenging but enjoyable movement. So if you can find a way to enjoy your body and move in your body and then challenge yourself in that movement, that's all you got to do. Because what you're doing when you're challenging yourself is you're growing, okay? So if you find dance is enjoyable for you, great, go dance and challenge yourself in that dance. Then you're going to grow. You're going to strengthen muscles that you haven't used, okay? So both challenging and enjoyable movement. For me, I like to go hiking. I like to push myself in the gym. I like to try new, handstand push-ups, things like this. I like to try new things in that way. That's fun for me. But challenging and enjoyable is what I want to suggest. Number 4 in my 5 to thrive in purification process is in the process of purification, in all the change that's going on, things get jumbled up. So I know a lot of people out there have messaged me and they said, I've lost my job, or I'm going to lose my job. What's next? Or can you give me some advice? Or I don't know what to do. And a story that was told to me that I really enjoyed was about Blockbuster Video. If you guys remember Blockbuster Video, they were huge. They were the place to go. It was so fun to go to the video store and pick out your favorite VHS and come home and watch it. They actually had the opportunity to buy Netflix back in the day before Netflix was even a thing, at a fraction of the price that it is today. And Blockbuster Video said, nah, we're not interested. They thought they were everything and nothing would knock them off their top spot. Well, obviously you guys know the story that Netflix now is massive and Blockbuster Video no longer exists. So the lesson here, or the idea that I want to share with you, is so many people, when they think about their work or they think about how they contribute, they get stuck in the way it is now, the idea that it is now. So Blockbuster Video was really in the business of distributing entertainment to their customers. And so Netflix was just a new way of doing this, and they resisted it and fought it, and they stuck rigidly to this old way, and they died. So in the shifting process, in this purification process, lots is going to be thrown up in the air. If you can see new opportunities, if you can see new ways of arranging things, there is a better opportunity there waiting for you. But first, you must let go of the identity, the idea of how it should be, and instead tap into why you're doing what you do and why you love what you do. Or if you don't love what you do, tune into what you love to do and move towards that now, because you're being given that opportunity. So for myself, I've shifted away from acting. And now I'm doing podcasting, I'm doing online material, I'm doing writing my second book. I have a newsletter coming out. So I have all these different things. But my mission, the reason I'm doing what I do, remains the same. So if I was tied to the identity of being an actor, I'd be super depressed because I'm not acting, but I don't choose that perspective. Instead, I go, what I love to do is to share my heart and bring people back to the wonder inside all of us, through, whether it be through acting, through podcasting, through newsletters, through my book, my writing, whatever, having conversations on the street. That's what I love to do, because that was the most beautiful gift that someone has given to me. And I want to give it to other people. So I'm finding new ways to give that, to share that, to spread that. So for you, what is your gift? What is the thing that you want to give to others that lights you up? What is that thing that you're really good at that people say, man, you're really good at that. You should continue with that. And then find new ways of expressing that gift. So what business are you really in? And that's this idea. Don't get stuck in the business that, or the identity of what you think you should be doing. And instead really tap into, what is it that you really love? What is it that you really are doing for people? And find new ways to give your gift. Number 5 is patience and celebration. So in the process of purification, it doesn't happen all at once. I know for myself, I want it to, because it sometimes can be very uncomfortable, but patience is important. There are times when so much happens all at once, and there are times where it feels like nothing is happening, okay? So have patience, keep moving forward, keep doing what you can with what you have in this moment. That's something I keep telling myself, be patient, Graham. And the other thing is celebration. So when you do have progress, when you do make changes, when things do connect, celebrate those things, appreciate them, because as you appreciate everything in your life and the growth that you're going through, you are actually expanding your capacity for more to flow in. And as you appreciate everything in your life, truly, deeply, you are like making your energetic, your blessing bank account bigger. It's like you're You're adding on to your house so more friends, more blessings can come in. So the more you appreciate, the more you expand your capacity for more blessings to come in. It's magic. So patience, celebration, and appreciation. That's number 5. The next thing I want to share with you guys is some, I call them tangible takeaways. It would be also referred to as like dad speak, like the dad advice. Because here's an example of dad advice. I was visiting my parents in my new podcast van. I call it my battle bus now. And I was parked in their driveway. My dad had parked his truck in front of me and I was trying to get out. So he came to move his truck. And so he gets in his truck and he's going to pull away. And he pulls away like maybe a foot and then he stops. And I'm going, come on, like there's no traffic. Like, what are you doing? And he looks out his window and he looks at me and I'm kind of like, yeah, what are you waiting for? And he says, you might want to unplug your van. And I looked out my mirror and I go, oh my God, I'm still plugged in. So I have this podcast van. It's like an RV. And so I had plugged in while I was at my parents' place in their driveway and I forgot to unplug it. So if I would have driven away, probably damaged his garage, damaged my van. Anyways, dad advice, something that you got to say. And some of you might already know these things, but I got to say them because of the times that we're in. I think it's important. Tangible takeaway time. Emergency kits. It's just important to remember these things. Do you have an emergency kit? Do you have some water and some food stored up maybe for about 2 weeks? It's a good idea. Why not, right? Worst comes to worst, you donate it to a food bank. If you do end up needing it, you'll be grateful that you prepared that. Number 2 is a communication plan with loved ones. So Facebook goes down again, or the internet goes out for a bit, or something happens where you lose power. How are you going to communicate with your loved ones, with friends and family? What's the game plan? If for some weird reason we weren't able to connect for 24 hours, would we meet somewhere? What would be our way of connecting to make sure that everybody's okay? That's a great idea to have. Radios as well, maybe walkie-talkies, or if you're really fancy, you can get some satellite phones. Those are always fun. Just some things to consider. And the third thing that I want to mention is heat and refrigeration. If we are to experience some weather, earthquake, power outage, who knows, one of the things that I didn't really think about when I was living in an apartment years ago and the power went out, I went, this apartment is useless to me because my heat is with electricity. My cooking is with electricity. My refrigeration is with electricity. So I can't heat my food. I can't cool my food and I can't heat myself. So this is dead to me. This isn't going to work for me. It's going to be freezing in here. And I left. I went up to my parents' house and stayed with them for a bit because they still had power. So what I learned from that lesson years ago was the importance is to have backups and understand if things were to go out, I'm super dependent on, it's going to be a problem. So maybe it's a wood burning fireplace. Maybe you can get these portable power stations on Amazon. They're basically, it's like a cooler, but it's just full of batteries, So that if something were to happen, you have some battery power there and you can plug in a heater or you can plug in a hot plate or you can plug in your fridge or whatever, and you can last for 24 hours or 72 hours or whatever it is, depending on what you buy. So think about if the power were to go out, how would that change my way of life? Okay. Not saying that's going to happen, but it doesn't hurt to prepare. So those are my little tangible takeaways. I also want to say that even amidst all this stuff that's going on in the world right now, that like I said earlier, I do believe the best is yet to come, but it is also going to require us to shift how we live our lives, how we see ourselves in our community, and how we contribute. I think it's really important to learn new skills, to have a great attitude when we're learning these new skills, because you know what? I would rather share information and insights with somebody who has a great attitude and help them for free than somebody pay me and they have a terrible attitude, and they're just super, like entitled. Like I'm not interested in that. So having a great attitude, asking for support to learn new skills, diversifying yourself and growing, I think is really going to be important, and connecting with your community and finding out what you can do in your surroundings, in your group there, in your community to support each other. Whether or not anything happens crazy in the world, there's no downside to that, right? It might be uncomfortable at first, but you're only going to reap the rewards from enhancing your skill set, improving your self-reliance, or, having a vegetable garden or storing some food up, like all these different things. There's no downside to them. They just might be a little extra work, but you'll be so grateful if you do need them, right? It may be overwhelming, but that's why I said take one step at a time. Just one step. Maybe it's getting a first aid kit. Maybe it's drawing up a communication plan with your family and your friends, your loved ones. Just take one step and slowly move forward. There's lots of websites out there, like the Red Cross, excuse me, that has emergency preparedness checklists and things like that you can look up. So don't get overwhelmed, because I truly believe that everything we need to take the next step is always ready and waiting for us. It's always right there. The only thing that's stopping it from coming in is a false belief or a lack of appreciation. So if we appreciate what we have and we dismantle these false beliefs that say, I can't have these things or I don't know what to do, and we trust in a higher power that everything will be delivered on time exactly when we need it, as long as we remain open and faithful, we'll get everything we need. And it's proven true for me. And I know many of you will be nodding your head to this saying yes. If you haven't experienced this in your own life, that's okay. I know it's tough sometimes to trust in a higher power. Whatever your spiritual background is, it can be tough to understand, well, where's this going to come from? I have to do something. Yes, you don't just sit on the couch. But like I said, do what you can with what you have in this moment and stay open and faithful and trusting, and you will be shown a way. There's a scene from Indiana Jones where he has to cross this precipice, and there's a cavern. And Indiana Jones is at the edge of the cliff, and he's like, there's no way across. What am I going to do? And effectively, he just trusts. He puts his hand on his heart, and he puts his foot out, and he steps. And then there's this invisible bridge that was kind of camouflaged that was there. And he steps out onto it, and a way is made for him, and he gets across. And it's so perfect of a metaphor for exactly this process that I'm talking about. Put your hand on your heart, do everything you can, and trust. And a way will be made for you. But you have to take the leap. You won't see it until you've committed, until you've put yourself out there. The path didn't appear as soon as he put his hand on his heart and he looked down and there's the path. No, he literally stepped off the cliff and down he went onto the bridge. And that is perfectly representing this process. You have to take the leap of faith. You have to get outside your comfort zone and trust, and the way will be made for you. We are all so much more powerful than we can ever imagine. And the more we tune into this, the more we feel this, the more we appreciate ourselves for the strengths that we have, the more we begin to realize that there is so much potential that is untapped. So it's important to remember this, to feel this, to give thanks for this, because the more you do, the more comes in. So I encourage all of you to share with me, share with others, share with your loved ones, with your family, your friends, your wins, your little moments of triumph, your leaps of faith. And if you don't have somebody that you can trust that will support you in that and not look down on you, then just keep it in a journal for yourself. For you, keep a log of all these things that are going right, how you've challenged yourself, how you've stepped outside your comfort zone, how you've trusted that a way will be made for you. This is important. We are in a great time of transformation, and we have the power to create a world that is sustainable, that is free and sovereign. We must start inside, and the outside will follow. I want to wish you blessings, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Well, that's it, my friends. I know it was a bit of a shorter episode this time, but it was very condensed, and it was very passionate, and I hope you felt it. I'm really connected and committed to doing my part in this whole process, and I hope you are too. If you want to stay connected with me in new ways, I got a newsletter coming out, so I hope you've subscribed. If you haven't, there's a link in the notes below. Show notes, click it, subscribe to the newsletter. It's basically just like this solo cast, but in a newsletter kind of version, and I'm going to be sharing with you what's going on, pictures and little clips and notes, and it's fun. I have actually really enjoyed it. So if you want to subscribe, you can. The first issue is out today. So if you subscribe, you'll get emailed that first issue. I want to say thank you to Eskimotion for the use of his music at the beginning of this episode. As always, I always love saying thank you to him. And also, I'm going to leave you a little treat because sometimes people don't listen all the way to the end of the episode. But the end of this episode is going to be a little different. I'm going to end with a meditation. Please sit back, get relaxed, and we're going to go into a little meditation. It'll be about 10 minutes. We'll see how we do. Here we go. So make sure you're sitting comfortably. Sometimes I know for myself, I have to adjust myself a few times before I'm really settled in. Once you've found a good seat, take a deep breath and relax your shoulders as you breathe out. You can gently close your eyes if you like. And all I want you to do is feel your heart space right in the middle of your chest. Actually feel it. Don't just think about it. And as you breathe, and as you feel your chest, I want you to just witness, just observe anything that you're feeling. Keep breathing and just notice whatever it is that you're feeling. Be gentle with yourself. If it's a painful feeling, just keep breathing. If it's a good feeling, just allow it to be whatever it is. Don't try and make it any bigger. Just allow it to be. Take another deep breath. And let whatever you're feeling flow through you, down through your legs, out your feet. Take another breath in and sigh it out. Now pay attention to the space around you. Don't think about the space around you. Feel the space around you. Between you and the walls. Between you and what's closest to you. There is a space. Gently feel that. Now I want you to think of something that you're grateful for. Something that you can appreciate. It could be something very simple. Whatever it is, I want you to feel appreciation for that. Doesn't have to be a big feeling of appreciation. Just feel whatever it is that comes up for you when you appreciate it. And I want you to think of that as like a little flame in your heart, like you're starting a fire. You have to protect that flame. You don't want to blow it out. Just let it grow on its own. I want you to hold this space of awareness, this witnessing of this feeling of appreciation in your heart, like a little flame. And let it grow in its own time. Keep breathing. And as this flame grows by itself, organically, as you just lovingly watch it, allow the light from this flame to move through your entire body. Watch it spread. See how it heals you. It nourishes you. Keep breathing. And with each breath, allow this loving awareness. Cultivate this flame of appreciation inside of you. Now I want you to think of someone in your life that you love, that you care about. And I want you to take all this light that you're feeling through your whole body, this feeling of appreciation, this beautiful feeling, and wrap them in this feeling of appreciation. See their face as this energy pours into them, heals them, lifts them, and they don't even know where it's coming from. And when you're finished, bring your awareness back to yourself. Thank yourself for taking the time to connect, to appreciate, and to give to another. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thanks for staying with me to the end, guys. I love you all so much. I appreciate you. I thank you. And I hope you enjoyed that meditation. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.